Hello, guys. Welcome to Reinvented. I'm your host, Kayla. It's where we talk all things mental health. And today we are going to look at sports and mental health. Um, so, so how and I think I forgot how to record an episode. So, how sports can help um, with your mood, anxiety, stuff like that. But also talking about the burnout side of it, the mental side of it, and then kind of the stigmas behind sports and mental health, because I think we have seen, especially in some sports, some athletes taking a step back. And I think that's kind of important to talk about. So, well, for one, sports in regards to what sports you play, obviously can help with anxiety. For one, it also so especially since with anxiety, it's something, you don't feel like you have control. Um, and something I've learned for my anxiety is what, I find what I do have control over, like what can I control, because I cannot control everything. And if you, I feel like for if you do try to control everything, that's where everything goes downhill. But it does help. I think a lot of people realize what they can and can't control. Um, and I think in different phases of that, and I don't think that's just from sports. I think that's, you can learn that anywhere. Um, it can help improve sleep, especially being if you're a high level athlete, you will need the sleep. And it can also just help you make the improvements to better yourself. There are a few things though that I think with sports, it's that I think people need to take into account is, for one, like burnout. And you do not just get burnout in sports. Um, it's like you're starting to no longer feel happy where you're at. And that's usually when we've seen, especially high level athletes take a step back because they're focusing on their mental health. I don't know. I, we've seen it in, at least with the NWSL. There's two players that come to mind that have, I think, at least for this season, have taken a step back to focus on their mental health, because they have stated that they are not happy anymore and they want to take a step back to find that love again, which is obviously Sydney LaRue and then Bethany Balcer. Both have had pretty good careers, as they have um, either Sydney LaRue has kind of been in and out with the U.S. Women's National Team. She hasn't been in for a while, but she was in for a little, at least a few years, I believe. But yeah, and I know that there's sometimes it's you think it's gonna go one way and it doesn't go that way. So yeah, I think that's kind of important. Is the burnout of thinking it's gonna go one way and it doesn't, and it's always the constantly doing the same thing all the time, and then it feels like something's not working. So I think it's it is, I think, important to talk about that stigma behind the, oh, you need to be, this is what you need to do to get here. But it's more of, what can we start showing, especially athletes, of what works for them, and also maybe finding different ways to get to the goal that they want without having to be repetitive and do the same thing every day and just seeing the same results. Yeah, and I didn't really have much else for this episode. I think we kind of covered it in this smaller episode. Um, So I do hope you guys kind of enjoyed the smaller episode. And I will see you guys next week with a brand new episode. Peace.